3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today, Chase, he's laughing. What? You actually have, Greg still does the edits, but the deal with these hats was the staff, the hat and the drink, which we will sample a little later. This one, though, is the last two. I was Nemo, I think, last week, and this one, I don't even know. Some sort of strange bird landed on my head, but we are talking about a strange bird this week. We're down Trainer Lane, and we have moved into jets. We're going to cover the Yak-17. The fighter version of this was was known to NATO as the Feather, and the trainer version, code name was a Magnet. Now, we do not have a Yak-17, but to fill my hands, we're going to go throw up a good old P-80, which is comparable. Greg can throw up the Yak-17. First flight. Now, these aircraft are comparable in time frame. The first flight on this was 1947. The intro was in 1948. It was retired in the 1960s. Incredibly inefficient fuel systems and stuff like that. The P-80, the T-33, we fly a T-33 with the J-33 engine in it. Just a big fuel hog. They didn't care about it. If they got up to altitude, they weren't too bad. But anybody that's flying them now really isn't flying them in the flight envelope that they were designed for. The P-80 was no match for an aircraft that's going to come out of the Soviet manufacturer, which was the MiG-15, but we're not there yet. Now, with this Yak-17, the majority of them, of the 430 that were built, the majority were trainers. They did not build a lot of fighters for this. My voluble assistant, I think you're my insane assistant when it comes to all the stuff you're giving me, but it was still, at the time in the Soviet Air Force, cutting edge. Now, anything that was going anywhere, and I would, you could argue in the United States arsenal, not necessarily that during the war there was a German influence, but after the war with swept wings and a lot of the technology that they captured, a lot of the information, the Germans had a big influence. The Soviets and Soviet aviation was no different. This aircraft looks kind of weird, and the reason for that is there was a previous version, which was the Yak-15. Soviets were messing around with jets, which was a tail dragger, and they took the Yak-17, they put it on tricycle landing gear with that inline center engine. Now, the engine was based on the UMO, double 004, which was a German design, which was, and you can argue with me if you're a German aficionado with the 262, but the German engines, and a lot of it had to do with metallurgy. To be fair, the metallurgy at the time, they didn't understand a lot of the things they were working with, or they had just a rudimentary technology, and they were kind of going through the paces of learning how to build some of this stuff. And the German engines were incredibly unreliable. The only thing about the 262 that was valuable and that you could argue with this aircraft was the engines had quick disconnects. They were easy to take out of the airplane, which probably saved the Yak-17 from a standpoint that they really almost reverse engineered the motor that was in this thing. I could say they did reverse engineer the motor in this thing, and consequently it was a good engine change. Now, the aircraft was introduced in 1948. It retired in the 1960s. And I would argue that the only reason it stayed around that long was it was fairly easy to service, and most of those aircraft were trainer built, so they were 2 seats, so they were valuable as hacks. But if they had been difficult at all to service, I think they would have gone by the wayside. As I said, they went to tricycle landing gear, which we see pretty much as we're going to go down the trainer lane in the 50s now. Most of those aircraft are all headed towards tricycle landing gear, and they're teaching students how to do maneuvering with tricycle landing gear. As I said, on the redesign on the Yak-17, the big problem was they had to get the landing gear right for the center of gravity on the airplane for the tricycle landing gear. And what that did was that killed the onboard fuel in the airplane. The aircraft only had 150 gallons of onboard fuel. Now, if you are an old jet aficionado, think about 150 gallons in a P-80 or a T-33. That hardly wets the engine's whistle. And what happened with this Yak-17 is it had detachable wing tanks so they could get more fuel. What do wing tanks do to the performance of the airplane? They kill it. So that's another reason why this thing never went very much further. I don't think that any of them saw combat in the Korean War. The MiG-15 did, which obviously is a very capable airplane. You correct me in the comments, but I don't think any of the Yak-17s got anywhere near combat in Korea because they were just so deficient, but they were a good trainer. And that brings me to my salute. And my salute today, as we put this thing back on the peg, is to all of the folks that were test pilots. This stuff, to say that it was dangerous is an understatement. That we are out on the edge when we're moving into these jets, and they didn't understand a lot of the forces they're dealing with. In a number of Warbird Wednesdays, depending on the aircraft, like let's say the Sabre Dance, some of these aircraft had really, really bad handling characteristics early on, and they were very dangerous. The United States, all across the globe, but these test pilots still got in the airplanes and flew them. And in many cases, you know, there really isn't. I mean, Top Gun is a movie and it's great, and you love to see all that bravado, but these people are human beings, and you cannot tell me test pilots were not afraid when they were going up there. They had to be scared, and they just didn't show it. They were brave enough to get in the airplane, and that fear of the unknown is like what I deal with when I look at whatever Jason has put out for me today. And today it is, dang, that's good. Butterscotch root beer. Oh, you're thinking about me. It's gluten-free. You're worried about my glutenage. There you go. Then this is, of course, let's see. It gives me some idea of the age. This does not, it does have a California Redemption Certificate, and it has 180 calories. So we're right there. I don't see the blatant sugarcane mafia writing on this, but we're going to go ahead and pop it, and we will salute. If you were a test pilot or your family member was a test pilot back in this day, a lot of guts, I salute you. Yuck. Again, he's laughing again. Last week was probably the worst stuff, and I'm being polite because we're on YouTube, that I've ever had. This is not, we'll take one more swig for the team. This is like, I am afraid when I do Warbird and say I feel some of that test pilot fear. That is not true. I don't at all. Those people are braver than brave. But we'll go ahead and get my P-80 back here. So the Yak-17 made its debut at the 1949 Soviet Aviation Day, and with most of the jet fighters, The P-80 is another example. Their lifespans were very short, and within probably 3 or 4 years, this thing was relegated to obsolete. It kind of went on from there. Now, what my understanding is that a number of the Yak-17s actually are on display in Russia and the Russian Federation, and if you get over there, you might be able to see one. I don't know. Maybe tell me in the comment section. I don't know that they made it into any of the East Bloc museums, the former Eastern Bloc countries. So maybe if you know of one, put it in the comment section if somebody might want to see it. But it was an thing, what I would call stopgap aircraft, and that's all it was. And that, like the P-80 and a lot of other aircraft in the American arsenal, these were all basically stopgap aircraft as technology was changing so fast that they made them obsolete. Now, if you want to amaze your friends, this is it. You can go down and build one of these. This is really nice. This is a great thing for kids, for little kids with eye-hand coordination and everything, and they can fly it around and destroy it in about 10 seconds. But get out there and click on the link for one of these. Are we going to put all of the machines up, or this is just basically the types of machines that can be built? Let me put this up on the link. This is a great thing for little kids, just as a gift. It's not very expensive. Or get it, throw it in the closet for Christmas, and you will be a hero. Click on that link, and Jason will run down to the store and make one of these and then send it to you. He doesn't move very fast, actually, so you might get it at some point. Now, we cannot do all this stuff without your donation. So if you feel so inclined, click on that link that's included in the description. Send us a few rubles, a couple of bucks. We can sure use it. That's how we maintain all this stuff. If you came across us on YouTube, or you came across us on Facebook, on YouTube, give us a subscription. We really need those. They help the channel. And if you like one-take aviation videos, I make no... we're not trying to be an Emmy winner here on our Warbird Wednesday. These are one-take aviation videos. We throw the information in there, and if you know people that like that, forward it to them. Give us that subscription. Give us a comment. We surely appreciate it. On YouTube, the same thing. We absolutely appreciate your likes and your comments, or on Instagram. And if you are teaching the kiddos at home, we have a deal for you in the description in the video. There are the educator guides, and you can click on those. If you're teaching the kid, you can teach one thing at a time. You can pull them out and go through the whole thing. There's great stuff in there. It covers humanities, engineering, all kinds of stuff about flight. And the most important thing is it's free to you. Just click on that link. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Rise to the blessed day. All my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked. But ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Come along and join us, we can plug you in the signal.